Hi, friend. Are you over 40 and feeling lonely? Well, you're definitely not the only one. I've been you, and there are plenty of other women in that same position. And today, I want to talk to you a little bit about why does that happen? And more importantly, how we can fix this together. If you don't know who I am, my name is Julie Marvel, and I'm the founder of the Fabulous Ladies. We're a women's organization that I started after I got divorced. I was feeling this deep sense of loneliness, and I looked around and realized I did not have a support system of women around me to help me through that difficult time. So back then I started a little lunch group, and women started to come together to build friendship and community, and it's now blossomed into a large women's organization in Naples, Florida, where we build friendships through in-person events, and we find meaning and purpose. And that's what this channel is all about. It's for you to find meaning and purpose through connection, and to find ways that you can make friends wherever you are. So come along with me, and let's discover today, why does this happen and how can we fix this together? So let's get started today. I have talked to thousands of women over the years building the Fabulous Ladies. And one of the things that I've noticed that everyone seems to have in common is this organization usually starts to serve women who find themselves in transition. So what that typically looks like is women who are divorced, women who are widowed, empty nesters, recently retired, moved to a new area, or sometimes they've just finished taking care of a loved one and feeling the loss of that. But one of the things that I've also noticed is that we as women spend our entire lives taking care of other people. We go to college or we get a job and then we start our careers and we're totally focused on those things. And then maybe we start a family and we get married and we have kids, and that's all consuming. And we shift our entire focus, our whole personality, our entire lives are starting to revolve around other people and their needs. And we just instinctively give to other people, and we start to naturally neglect our own needs and the things that make us happy. And we're doing this for many years, and the kids start to get older and the career starts to settle down, or maybe we retire and the dust kind of settles, and we look around and what we finally realize is we actually don't even know who we are anymore. We don't know what we like. We don't know what we want to do. We don't know how we want to spend our time, and we don't really even know who we want to spend our time with. And so that's when the Fabulous Ladies enters the picture, because this time in our life isn't time for us to slow down and just start watching TV and roll over and wait for ourselves to die. This is actually the time when life starts to get interesting. We start to meet people in our own age category that have lots of cool stories to tell. We've been through a lot of experiences and we've had a lot of ups and downs. And so this is the time in our life where we really need to rediscover who we are, and we need to find other people, other women that we can share those experiences with and share our stories with. Someone that we have chemistry with and connection with, and maybe someone that's in the same phase of life as us. So this tends to be the why. This tends to be, well, how does this happen? That's how it happens. We spend our whole lives taking care of other people, and then we come out of that and we realize that we need to start focusing a little bit more on ourselves to find that joy, that meaning, and that purpose once again. So I want to ask you a question. Why do we feel so stuck? Why does it feel so hard to make that first move to find friendship and community? I believe there's several reasons for this. And the first reason I feel like this happens to us as women is because, number one, we have a fear of rejection. You know, we're kind of out of practice. We've been so busy taking care of our family and doing our own thing that we haven't actually put ourselves out there in a very long time to ask someone to coffee or to lunch. And so that first time can feel a little scary. And then if you're received with rejection, that can feel terrible. So I completely understand why that very first time can be so challenging. Another reason why I feel like we feel stuck is because we feel like it might be too late, or like everyone already has their friends and they don't have time for you, or they're too busy. But I'll tell you what, going through this experience of building this women's organization, what I've come to learn is that many of the women in your life I would almost be willing to bet, are feeling the same way that you are. They feel disconnected. They feel like they're busy taking care of their own families, and they would absolutely love to be invited to coffee. And if it doesn't fit into the schedule, then you just find another time. It's going to be okay. I also think one of the reasons why we feel stuck or we feel like we don't want to move in the direction of making new friends is we've simply lost our confidence. When we're in high school and college and we're young and beautiful and active, we have a lot of self-confidence. And motherhood and marriage and career stress can bring that down. It makes us feel like we're not as confident as we were when we were younger. And so the best way, in my opinion, to build confidence is through experiences that are positive. And you're never going to be able to move in a positive direction of experience until you take the first step. So you want to put yourself out there, which will then build your confidence if you have a positive experience. The last thing that I think really can make us feel like we are stuck is that social media can create images and scenarios that make us think everyone else has it all together. Everyone's life is perfect. But what I've learned through connecting with so many hundreds of women is that even the ones that look like they have it all together and everything is perfect aren't. And they're looking for connection and vulnerability and intimacy and someone that understands what they're going through. So I encourage you to take the first step. And that can be hard, but I'm going to help you along the way just to come up with some tools in your toolbox so that you can try to find community, connection, and friendship in your life as well. Now it's time to actually make that first move. Okay, so how do you do this? Like, how do you start to build friendship and community again over the age of 40? Here's what I want you to try. I want you to say yes to one thing this month. And there's a lot of different things that you may not even be aware of. So I want you to look around to see if there is a class, a meetup group, maybe there's a book club, maybe there's an exercise class, maybe there's a social group in town, or something that you can just find other people to talk to. I want you to say yes one time this month. And then when you're there, I want you to make an effort to put yourself out there and introduce yourselves. And all that takes is you just walk over to someone, kind of, you want to scan the room and look for someone that you feel like you might be connected to. It's usually someone that looks a little bit similar to you, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just look interesting to you. And you walk over to them and you just say, "Hi, my name is Julie. What's your name?" I know it sounds so silly, like little 8-year-old kids can do this without even thinking about it. But for us, it is very odd. It feels a little weird. And so I encourage you to just give it a try. So do one this month, okay? The next thing I want you to do is I want you to take it another step. I want you to call someone on the phone and invite them to lunch or coffee or to take a walk. Something very simple. It's not like an all-day thing, just a very small commitment. And if they say they're too busy, I want you to push a little bit and say, "Well, when would a good time for you be?" See if you can really nail it down on the calendar. I don't want you to say, "Okay, maybe next time." I don't want you to say, "Well, let's find a time to get together," because that's not going to end in an actual commitment. I want you to get your calendar out and make a friend date with that person so that you actually follow through. And then the day before, you're going to text them or call them and say, "I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at blah, blah, blah." And that makes sure that you're not going to cancel and that they're not going to cancel. And then the last thing I want you to think about is doing the brave thing even when you're scared. And I know it sounds so simple that you're just meeting someone for coffee or going to a book club, but you're probably going to wake up in the morning and start thinking in your mind about all these other things that you need to be doing, and you really don't have time for this, or what if they don't like me, or what if they're going to cancel? And I don't want you to fall for that. I want you to, even if you're scared, to follow through and show up, because you're showing up for your new friend or your old friend, but really, essentially, you're showing up for you. And this is so important. You have to build the muscle of being able to rely on yourself. If you show up for yourself, you're going to start to trust yourself, and you're going to know that what you say you're going to do is what you're going to do. And that in turn will also build your confidence. So, my friend, you are not broken. You are in a season of rebuilding, and I believe so deeply that your next chapter is going to be filled with connection and friendship and joy. You are not alone. You just haven't found your people yet, and I would love to help you do that. If this resonates with you, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and follow me, Julie Marvel, with the Fabulous Ladies. And let's find meaning and purpose and friendship together. Bye for now.